This is my Mad Catz Tournament Edition 1 fight stick, and in this video I'll show you how I converted it to a button box layout. You may have noticed that for a fight stick, there's a distinct lack of stick happening here. So for the purposes of this video, I'm going to go ahead and call this a button box for now. So why a stick without a stick? Well, for me personally, I was playing Bomberman at my friend's house, and we had a few different controllers being passed around. And this funky controller comes my way with only buttons on it. My buddy explains to me how it works, I start playing, and I immediately thought, wow, this makes a lot of sense. No more struggling with misdirectional inputs. The button box layout just takes all the guesswork out of it. You never have to worry about pressing a stick just a little bit the wrong direction with your hand and getting an accidental diagonal input because there is no stick. I was sold on the idea of Hitbox, so I went to their website and I found that they were pretty pricey. Pricey enough to make me reconsider my options. I told my buddy I was considering it, and he told me to save my money and take his old Mad Catz TE1 and convert it. To which I replied, "You can do that?" Easy peasy, he says. So he sends me the links to what I need, I order the parts, and wait by the mailbox. Once the parts arrived, I got to work on the conversion on stream so that my consultants could help me along the way. Once I got the stick open and started on the conversion itself, I realized this was not going to be as plug and play as I first thought. I ran into 3 snags that I thought I would document here in this YouTube video for anyone interested in converting a Mad Catz TE1 or an arcade controller like this to a button box layout. Snag number 1. For this conversion specifically, you're going to have to cut some plastic. The plastic in the bottom here is a different button layout than the one we're converting to, so it's going to interfere with the plate that we're going to push down on top of it. If you don't remove the existing plastic, you won't be able to screw down the faceplate. And even if you do, the clearance will be so tight that some of the buttons, if you push them down, they'll end up being permanently pressed up so you can't actually use them. So you're going to have to cut this out with a Dremel or some other tool like the tin snips I used. Snag number 2, you're going to have to move the PCB. I noticed that even after cutting out the plastic in snag number 1, I still couldn't press the faceplate down. Something else was blocking it. After thinking that I was going crazy for a while, I noticed that the very bottom button of the button box layout was lower than any of the original buttons from the original layout, and now they're interfering with the PCB, which is in the bottom of the case. Easy method that I thought up on the fly is to unscrew the PCB, move it over, and then rescrew the right screws into the left posts, effectively moving the PCB over by about 2 inches. This makes enough room for that new button layout with the lower bottom button. You will only have 2 screws attaching the PCB to the case, but in my experience that should be more than enough to stop this PCB from moving around in there, and is certainly easier than hot gluing new posts to screw to, and definitely better than letting the PCB kind of float around in the case, which I'm sure some people do, but it's probably a bad idea. On to snag number 3. Even after cutting out the bottom plastic and moving the PCB, I still couldn't quite get the top plate to push down. To remedy this, I carefully bent the pins on the buttons off to the side so that they had more clearance to go down. Despite everything we've done, it's still a tight fit and any extra clearance will help, and bending the wires is what allowed me to finally get the case to close. Bonus tip: test the controller is fully working before buttoning it all up. That way, if a wire is misplaced, you can fix it without opening the whole thing up again. So there you have it. The conversion was a little bit more involved than originally anticipated. I thought just a screwdriver and some screws would do the trick. It wasn't until I found this picture that it really clicked into place that I had to move the PCB. And then some more adjustments on the button pins to get it all to fit snugly. But now that all is said and done, I've breathed new life into this arcade stick that is almost old enough to drive, by the way, and I've begun my fight stick journey into many new arcade, puzzle, and fighting games. I've been having a blast playing Tetris Effect Connected, Windjammers 2, Streets of Rage 4, and more on my first real arcade controller. Thanks for watching, everyone. Please leave a like if you liked this video, and tune in again soon. Peace.